In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about racemose inflorescence, complex inflorescence, and specialized inflorescence. Now, the very first one and the second type of the inflorescence, that is the racemose inflorescence. In racemose inflorescence, the main axis continue to grow along with the formation of new flowers. In this case, the main axis will grow. It means it will show indeterminate growth. The growth which doesn't stop or comes to an end is known as indeterminate growth. Although when the inflorescence completely matures, then its growth stops. But at the initial state, its growth doesn't stop but continue. The flowers are formed and the axis continues in this direction. So the first flowers are formed at the base, and the young one they are formed at the top, and this grows in this direction. So young flowers lies at the top, look at here, and or at the base, having indeterminate growth. So this was all about racemose inflorescence. The main axis continue to grow, forming lateral flowers. So the old flowers lies at the base and young flowers are at the top, or the old flower formed first and young formed later. Now, types of raceme or racemose inflorescence. Number one, typical raceme. Racemose inflorescence with pedicellate flowers found in reddish delphinium. In this case, it is racemose inflorescence. The main axis continue to grow, forming lateral flowers, old at the base, young at the top. But the flowers have pedicel, so they are pedicellate, and this is the rachis, the main axis of the inflorescence. Another type is the spike. Spike is a racemose inflorescence consisting of a single axis that bears sessile flowers on both sides. In this case, here is a single axis, on both sides there are sessile flowers. So such type of inflorescence is known as spike, found in acanthus, callistemon, or bottle brush. The other type is pinnacle, inflorescence having several branched axes bearing pedicellate flowers. This is the main axis, and the main axis bears several branched pedicellate flowers. Several branched axes, these are branched axes on both sides, each bearing pedicellate flower having pedicel. Pinnacle may have determinate or indeterminate development. In this case, look at the top, the growth is continuous, so this is indeterminate pinnacle, but it may be indeterminate pinnacle too. It is found in oat, crabgrass, etc. The other one is the catkin, a spike with unisexual staminate or pistillate flowers that consist of scaly bracket without petal. Spike is also a raceme having old flower at the base and young at the top, but that bears unisexual flowers, either both staminate and pistillate. Look at, these are the male flowers and these are the female flowers. They have scaly brackets, and petals or the colorful part of flower, they are absent, so they are apetalous, found in mulberry, morus, populus alba like willow, Salix babylonica, Quercus libic, Quercus balut, etc. The other type is Corium. It is a raceme having flowers with short and long Long pedicels in all flowers are arranged at the same level, forming flat or convex top. It is also a raceme because the main axis continue to grow, showing indeterminate growth, forming old flowers at the base and young at the top. But the axis of each flower is different from the other on a single side, and also on both sides the pedicel length varies. Look at this is longer than this one, and this one is longer than this one. So the pedicel length varies, and all arise at the same level, forming a convex top or a flat, like a parallel to the horizon top. Now there are two types of corium. The very first one is simple corium. It is unbranched. The lower flowers elongate much more than the upper flower, forming a convex or flat top. It is simple corium. It bears unbranched, or there are no branches, lateral branches. These are the simple flowers. This is the simple one. The other is compound. It is a branched raceme consisting of flower of two or more order of axes. This is the one single order. This is the first order of axis arise to these flowers, and this is the second order of axis arise to these flowers. So there are two order of axis. This is known as the racilla, the main axis, while this is known as inflorescence axis. And it also have a convex, like this is a convex top. It may also have a flat top. Simple umbel. Indeterminate inflorescence with flat or convex top, and all flower arise from the same point of peduncle, found in Texas. Onion. In this case, all the flowers they arise from the same point. Look at this point. This is the same point. From this same point all flowers arise, but how it is a raceme. Now look at the structure. These are the old flower formed first, and these are the young flowers. These are the young flowers. So it is a raceme. This is the peduncle, and this is the involucre. Involucre is a, or involucre, it is a pair of bracket. Glomerule or cymose head. Inflorescence of sessile or subsessile flowers in which the internode between flower is very short. Look at this structure. This is node from which this flower arises, and this is the node from which this flower is arise. Now distance between these two nodes is known as floral internode. Now in case of glomerule or cymose head, there will be a short, very short internode between flower. This is found in acacia kicker, acacia senegal, or acacia arabica, or acacia nilotica. This is the flower. The flower consists of very short internodes. This appear is a head. Now secondary inflorescence. What is secondary inflorescence? It is the aggregation of unit or primary inflorescence. In secondary inflorescence, unit inflorescence, they aggregate together, forming a structure known as secondary inflorescence. Look at this structure. This is the primary inflorescence, like a cyme. Old is at the top and young is at the base. This is also a cyme, and this structure is a whole. This structure as a whole is also a cyme. So this is one cyme, other cyme. These form combined together, forming an inflorescence known as secondary inflorescence. Now its types. The very first one is the thyrus. It is a raceme of cyme. It means the main axis is like a raceme or showing indeterminate growth. Look at the structure. The growth is continue, but laterals or lateral branches, they are cymes. Look at the structure. All are at the top, showing determinate growth. so in which the main axis is indeterminate, i.e. raceme, but the lateral unit inflorescence or pedicellate cyme. The flowers have pedicel, that's why it is pedicellate, but old flowers are at the top showing determinate growth, so this is a cyme found in Syringia, Vertix nigendu, etc. Vertix nigendu or Marwan. This type of inflorescence is found in these plants. The other one is Verticillaster. Now what is Verticillaster inflorescence? It is basically a spike of opposite cymes having main indeterminate axis, but lateral cymes have very reduced to absent pedicel. In this case, the main axis, this is the main axis, or look at the structure, this is the main axis, but this show indeterminate growth. It means it is raceme inflorescence basically, but bears lateral sessile, nearly sessile flowers, that's why it is a spike. But these lateral branches, they are cyme because old flower is at the top showing determinate growth. So verticillaster cyme, and this the main axis continue to grow showing indeterminate growth, but on lateral sides it bears sessile or flowers having very reduced to absent pedicel, so they are considered a sessile cyme. That's known as, it is basically a spike. In spike there are lateral sessile flower, that's why it is known as spike. The other one is compoundumbel. In this case, or secondary inflorescence, in which the unit inflorescence, i.e. umbels, arises from the same point of peduncle, forming an umbel of umbel. In this case, secondary axis known as ray, while the unit umbel is known as umbellet. In this case, in umbel, if we consider this one in simple umbel, so this was the peduncle, from this point all the flowers was erased, but in this case this is the involucral brackets or a ring of bracket, and from this point umbellet or small umbels arise. So this is an umbel of umbel. It is found in carrot, gajar, coriander, dhania, etc. Compound raceme, both main axis and lateral branches show indeterminate growth, i.e. raceme. In this case, both the main axis show indeterminate growth, means young flowers are at the top and the old are at the base, but here the old flowers converted into an axis, not a single flower. On this axis, again at the top young flowers are present and at the base old are present. So this is a unit raceme, and these unit raceme combines together forming this compound raceme. This is found in gold mohair, Acacia fistula or omaltas. Raceme of spikes. Main axis show indeterminate growth, mean it continues to grow forming lateral axis, but these lateral branches or axes have sessile flowers like spike. This is a spike. Look at the structure bearing sessile flowers. So this is actually a raceme. The main axis is like a raceme, so it is a raceme of spikes. The other type of inflorescence is the specialized inflorescence. Now what is specialized inflorescence? These are the inflorescence that are restricted to certain taxonomic groups. We will discuss its types in detail. The very first one is Corium, inflorescence that borne small unisexual flowers. The whole inflorescence look like a single flower. At this structure, look at this structure. This is a cetium, longitudinal section. This is the cross section. Here, these are separate flower or pistillate flower or male flower, while these are staminate flower or male flower. These are female flower, these are male flower. These are the appendages or brackets. These are the nectar glands, gland that secrete nectar. So this appear as a whole is a single flower, but actually it is an inflorescence of flowers, but unisexual flowers. Yes, so inflorescence as a whole looks like a single flower. It is found in Euphorbiaceae like Euphorbia, esculenta, etc. Now the other type of specialized inflorescence is head or capitulum. In this specialized inflorescence, many sessile flowers group together on a compound receptacle. We have discussed compound receptacle already, that it is a mass of tissues that are produced at the top of peduncle bearing many flowers. So look at the structure. This is a compound receptacle, and on this compound receptacle many sessile flowers are grouped together. So this is actually an inflorescence. This is found in Asteraceae sunflower. A typical sunflower is like this one. But here is a structure. We'll discuss about this structure. Involucre and involucre conspicuous bracket or bracket pair or bracket or ring of bracket present at the base of an inflorescence, but may not be present in every head. Look at this structure. These are the brackets, and in this case known as phyllae. These group together or forming ring. Here they have formed rings. So such type of arrangement is known as involucre, present in sunflower too. The other specialized inflorescence is the hypanturium. Inflorescence on which numerous flowers borne in a cup-shaped compound receptacle. Look at this structure. This is the peduncle, and this is the receptacle, but forming a cup-shaped or involuted structure. And on this involuted structure here, these are the male flowers, these are the female flowers. This is found in Ficus carica, fig or injir. It is also a specialized inflorescence. Now spadix, it is like a spade. You can clearly see structure look like a spade or bilchi. It is a spike with a thickened or fleshy central axis. This is the thickened fleshy central axis. You can see here, this is the axis with congested flowers surrounded by a bracket known as spathe. This is the actually bracket known as spathe, but it is a somewhat modified bracket. Male flower lies at the upper side. These are male flowers, and the female flowers lies at the base, and at the middle here lies the sterile flowers found in the family Ericaceae like Philodendron, Quinquennerium, Quinquennerium, and Colocasia esculenta or Cachalu. So this was all about inflorescence. The other specialized inflorescence is the spikelet. Spikelet literally means a small spikes and refers to the basic inflorescence unit in Cyperaceae and Poaceae, the grass family. It is actually a small spikelet, but its structure is very different from the other inflorescence. It is usually found in the grass family. Grass spikelet consists of an axis called racella. This is the axis that is known as racella. Two basal brackets called glumes. These are the basic basal brackets known as the glumes. One or more short lateral branch units called florets. These are the florets or branch units. Each bears two brackets. Each one bears two brackets, lemma and pallia. And this is the